Picture this. You feel slower every month. Your weight creeps up, and even your memory gets foggy. Your friends say it's just old age. But in a major new study, thousands of seniors discovered these aging symptoms were actually caused by something entirely different, a thyroid issue hiding in plain sight. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to spot it, test for it, and fix it before it robs you of years you still have left. Dr. Harper, I have to tell you, I heard this exact story at my bridge club last week. My friend Gloria, who's 74, said she felt like her batteries were dying. She started forgetting names, gaining weight, and even napping through her favorite TV shows. Everyone said, "Welcome to your 70s." But it turned out, after months of guessing, her daughter begged for a thyroid test. And just like that, they found her answer. Have you seen this before?
Susan, I see it all the time. In fact, thyroid problems are one of the great mimickers of aging. Most people assume fatigue, weight gain, and memory issues are just normal when you get older. But a 2024 study from the Endocrine Society found that nearly 18% of adults over 65 have some form of thyroid dysfunction, and the majority don't know it. The scariest part? Over half of those cases were originally dismissed as ordinary aging.
That's shocking and a little unsettling, honestly. So let me get this straight. These seniors aren't just unlucky. They're being told by doctors, friends, even themselves that it's all part of getting older, when in reality, their thyroid could be quietly breaking down. Why is this so often missed?
Because thyroid symptoms are subtle and overlap with other things: fatigue, constipation, dry skin, brain fog, aches and pains. It's easy for even good doctors to chalk it up to age, depression, or just slowing down. But the thyroid controls metabolism, brain function, heart rate, even mood. When it slows, everything else drags with it. And here's something most people don't realize. A 2023 Harvard study found that seniors with undiagnosed hypothyroidism had a 2.5 times higher risk of developing heart failure and cognitive decline over 5 years. So this isn't just about feeling tired. It can change the entire course of someone's life.
Wow. So for seniors listening, if they hear this and think, "That's me," what should they be watching for? Is there a big red flag that points to thyroid trouble?
It can be tricky, Susan, but some patterns really stand out. Feeling cold all the time when others aren't, unexplained weight gain or swelling, hair thinning or loss of outer eyebrows, mood changes, more anxiety or depression, slowed heart rate, or a new diagnosis of high cholesterol. If you or a loved one has 2 or more of these, especially if they start within months of each other, it's worth asking for a full thyroid panel, not just the basic TSH test, but also free T4 and sometimes T3. And here's the catch: most routine physicals don't include all those tests unless you specifically ask.
I think that's what happened to Gloria. She had her annual blood work, but nobody mentioned the thyroid. How can seniors advocate for themselves, Dr. Harper? A lot of us are scared of being difficult patients.
You have every right to be thorough, Susan. Here's what I tell my patients. Bring a list of symptoms. Even write them down and hand it to your doctor. Say, "I've read that these can be signs of thyroid trouble. Can we check my thyroid levels? TSH, free T4, and maybe T3. That script alone often changes everything, and don't let anyone brush you off. The American Thyroid Association actually recommends all adults over 60 get a thyroid screening, especially if they have unexplained symptoms.
Let's talk about those blood tests. You said TSH, free T4, sometimes T3. What do those actually mean? I know a lot of seniors get lost in the numbers.
Great question. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. It's like your body's thermostat for thyroid function. High TSH usually means your thyroid is underactive. Free T4 is one of the main hormones your thyroid makes. T3 is another, often checked if things are complicated. But here's a curveball. In seniors, even a TSH that's borderline high, say 4.5 or 5, can cause symptoms, but some labs still call that normal. That's why the context, the symptoms, and your age matter just as much as the numbers.
So if I'm a senior, I might have normal test results on paper, but still have a sluggish thyroid?
Exactly. The ranges were mostly developed for younger adults. For someone over 65, even a slightly high TSH or low normal T4 could signal a real problem. That's why I recommend tracking symptoms, not just lab results. And Susan, in a minute, I want to share a simple home test, something seniors can do with a thermometer and a notepad to get a clue about their thyroid health before their next appointment.
I love practical tips. But first, what about treatments? Is thyroid medication safe for seniors? Are there risks, or is it usually an easy fix?
When prescribed carefully, thyroid hormone replacement is one of the safest, most effective medications in medicine. But dosing for seniors must be slow and gentle. Too much can stress the heart, too little leaves you suffering. That's why it's critical to have regular follow-ups. And this is important. Some over-the-counter supplements, or even a high-fiber diet, can interfere with how the medication is absorbed. But here's the good news. For most, once you find the right dose, symptoms improve dramatically, sometimes in just weeks. I've had patients tell me, I feel 15 years younger.
That's hope. And if you're listening and feeling overwhelmed, don't worry, we're not finished. In a moment, Dr. Harper will walk us through his 5-minute home thyroid check you can do tonight. And trust me, you'll want to try this. But first, Dr. Harper, you mentioned that some seniors notice big changes just weeks after getting their thyroid diagnosed and treated. Is there a particular story you think really shows what's possible?
Absolutely, Susan. There's a patient I'll call Evelyn. She was 76 when she came to see me. She'd stopped driving because her reflexes had slowed, and she worried about early dementia. She'd lost interest in crossword puzzles, and even simple tasks felt like moving through molasses, as she put it. She'd seen 2 different doctors, but each time she was told, "You're just getting older." Her daughter, though, was relentless. She brought Evelyn in with a notebook full of symptoms, everything from constipation to brittle nails. We ran a full thyroid panel, not just the basic TSH. The results? Evelyn's thyroid was well below normal, but because her TSH was only slightly above the standard cutoff, her first doctors never flagged it. We started her on a very low dose of levothyroxine, monitored her carefully, and within a month, her energy and memory bounced back. She drove to her granddaughter's piano recital that spring, something she hadn't done in years.
That gives me chills. And it makes me think, how many other Evelyns are out there right now living smaller lives because they were told their blood work was close enough to normal? You promised a simple at-home check. How does it work?
This is called the basal body temperature test. Now, it's not a replacement for blood work, but it's a good early clue. Here's what you do. When you wake up, before getting out of bed, before drinking or eating anything, take your temperature with a reliable digital thermometer. Do this for 3 mornings in a row. If your average temperature is consistently below 97.8 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 36.5 degrees Celsius, it could be a sign your thyroid is running slow. This test goes way back. Recent research at the University of California in 2022 found that seniors with untreated hypothyroidism had lower than average waking temperatures, and the basal body temp often caught problems even when labs were borderline. Again, it's not a diagnosis, but it's a talking point to bring to your doctor.
That's practical. So, for everyone listening, write it down 3 mornings under the tongue before you even sit up. If your numbers are low, bring it to your next appointment and insist on a deeper thyroid panel. Is that right?
Exactly. And bring a symptom list. The more specific, the better. Write down things like fatigue, memory changes, cold intolerance, skin or hair changes, bowel changes, even mood. The Cleveland Clinic published guidelines last year encouraging doctors to take these patient reports seriously, especially in older adults.
Let's talk about food. There's a lot of myths out there. Eat more seaweed, avoid soy, don't touch kale. What does the research actually say about food and thyroid health for seniors?
Great question. Let's separate fact from fiction. First, iodine is essential for thyroid hormone, but most seniors in the U.S. get enough from iodized salt. Too much, like from massive seaweed consumption, can actually suppress thyroid function, especially in those already at risk. Second, soy can slightly affect thyroid medication absorption if eaten in large quantities at the same time as your meds, but it doesn't cause thyroid disease in healthy people. The key? Take thyroid pills on an empty stomach, then wait 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Third, cruciferous vegetables like kale and broccoli are safe for most people, unless you're eating pounds every day raw. Cooking removes most goitrogens. A 2023 meta-analysis in Nutrients confirmed that for the vast majority of seniors, a balanced diet with enough protein, healthy fats, and plenty of veggies is best for thyroid and general health. But the real food culprit for many? Highly processed foods and low-quality fats, which can worsen inflammation and fatigue.
That's so good to hear. So I don't have to give up my broccoli, but I do know some people who pop multivitamins or take lots of supplements thinking they'll boost their thyroid. Can that backfire?
It absolutely can. Some over-the-counter supplements contain very high doses of iodine or even unlisted thyroid hormones, especially in thyroid support blends bought online. A Consumer Reports investigation last year found that 3 out of 10 natural thyroid products contained either unlisted thyroid hormones or unsafe levels of heavy metals. If you're taking thyroid medication, avoid calcium and iron supplements within 4 hours of your dose. They bind up the medicine and make it less effective. And always bring your full supplement list to your doctor or pharmacist. More is not better.
You know, all this makes me realize how complicated thyroid health can be. You've got food, supplements, other medications, even your daily routine playing a part. And then trying to talk to your doctor, especially when you feel unheard. A friend told me her doctor brushed off her symptoms as in her head. That feels defeating. How can we be better advocates, especially if we feel dismissed?
That's so important, Susan. The first step is preparation. Bring your symptom diary, your home temperature results, your supplement and medication list. Second, don't be afraid to say, I know these symptoms may sound vague, but I'd like to check my thyroid thoroughly. Can you help me rule that out? Third, bring a friend or family member for support. Research from the University of Michigan 2023 found that seniors who had a health advocate at appointments were more likely to get proper testing and better follow-up. And here's a powerful script you can use. I know I'm getting older, but I want to be sure we're not missing something that could be treated. Could we check my thyroid with a full panel?
I love that. And for anyone listening, if you've ever left the doctor's office feeling confused or brushed aside, write down that script and bring it next time. Dr. Harper, let's talk about what happens after diagnosis. Say I get tested and my thyroid is underactive. What can I expect? What does life look like day to day after starting medication?
For most people, life starts to feel lighter. Fatigue often lifts within a few weeks, brain fog clears, and weight might even stabilize. But the key is patience. Thyroid hormone works slowly. It can take months to find the perfect dose. You'll need repeat blood work every 6 to 8 weeks at first, then every few months. If you feel jittery or notice a racing heart, call your doctor. Your dose might be a little high. One more thing. Some seniors with long-term untreated thyroid issues may have other health problems that take longer to resolve, like cholesterol or joint pain. But catching it early makes all the difference.
That sounds reassuring. What about things we can do beyond medication? Are there habits, exercises, or even mindsets that help support thyroid health as we age?
Yes, and this is where lifestyle matters. Movement. Gentle exercise boosts metabolism and mood. Even daily walking helps your body use thyroid hormone more efficiently. Sleep. Good sleep patterns support hormone regulation. Avoid screens and caffeine late in the day. Stress. Chronic stress can actually disrupt thyroid hormone production. Practices like meditation, gardening, even social connection can help calm the body's stress response. A recent study in the Journal of Endocrinology 2023 showed that seniors who practiced mindfulness and moderate exercise had better thyroid balance than those who didn't.
So it's not just a pill, it's a whole person approach. And if you're listening, maybe you're feeling stuck or worried it's too late. Dr. Harper is living proof, and so are his patients, that change is possible. When we come back, we'll talk about the most surprising triggers of thyroid problems hiding in your home and your medicine cabinet. And we'll answer the question, are there ways to help your thyroid wake up naturally, or is medicine always required?
Plus, I'll share the story of one patient who reversed years of aging symptoms with a single overlooked lifestyle change. Don't go anywhere. What you hear next could rewrite your next decade.
We're back, and I'm already scribbling notes. Dr. Harper, before the break, you mentioned thyroid sabotagers that might be hiding right in our homes or medicine cabinets. What are some of the most surprising things that can quietly undermine a healthy thyroid, especially for seniors?
That's such an important question, Susan. Let's start in the medicine cabinet, because that's where so many issues begin. Many seniors take several medications, often prescribed by different doctors, and they don't always realize how these drugs can interact. For example, certain heart medications like amiodarone, as well as lithium, sometimes used for mood, can actually disrupt thyroid function. Even common over-the-counter antacids and calcium supplements, if taken too close to thyroid medicine, can block its absorption. A 2024 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that nearly 40% of seniors on thyroid hormone replacement had less than ideal levels simply because they took their other medications or supplements within an hour of their thyroid pill. The fix is simple. Take your thyroid medication first thing in the morning with water and wait at least 30 to 60 minutes before anything else.
That's something I never would have thought of, and I'm guessing a lot of our listeners just take everything at breakfast to get it over with. It's a tiny change, but it can make a huge difference.
Exactly. And the same is true for iron supplements, some cholesterol drugs, and even high-fiber breakfast cereals. They can all block thyroid hormone if taken together. Now, on to the home environment. Some seniors are exposed to chemicals from non-stick pans, plastic containers, and even drinking water. A 2023 government report highlighted that certain chemicals known as PFAS or forever chemicals can actually suppress thyroid function. These are found in old non-stick cookware, some waterproof clothing, and even some food wrappers. While we can't avoid everything, it's wise to use stainless steel or cast iron when possible and limit microwaving food in plastic.
That's so eye-opening. I remember when Teflon pans were all the rage. Nobody warned us about the chemicals. And I know people who still use the same pans they bought in the 90s.
It's true, Susan, and while one pan won't wreck your thyroid, years of tiny exposures add up. The EPA is now recommending that seniors and those at risk for thyroid problems consider replacing older cookware and drinking filtered water, especially in areas where PFAS has been detected. Let's not forget about stress either. Chronic stress triggers a cascade of hormones that over time can dampen thyroid function. A Yale study in 2022 found that seniors with ongoing caregiving stress were twice as likely to develop thyroid imbalance compared to their peers.
I love that you brought up stress, because as much as we talk about food and medicine, the way we live, especially after retirement, changes everything. For a lot of seniors, loneliness and stress are just part of daily life.
Absolutely. And addressing these isn't just about feeling better, it's about restoring your body's natural balance. Even gentle social activity, a weekly coffee date, a group exercise class, volunteering, can buffer the effects of stress hormones and support healthy thyroid function. And it gives you something to look forward to, which is powerful medicine in itself.
That brings me to a question I hear all the time. Is there any way to wake up a sluggish thyroid naturally? Or once it slows, is medication the only real option?
For most seniors with true hypothyroidism, where the gland simply isn't making enough hormone, medication is necessary and safe when managed carefully. But there are certainly ways to support thyroid health and sometimes prevent further decline. Eat a varied, nutrient-rich diet with enough selenium, found in nuts, fish, and eggs, and zinc, beans, whole grains, and meat. Stay active. Movement helps every hormone system. Avoid extreme diets, especially those that cut out all carbs or fats. Manage stress and stay socially connected. In rare cases, if thyroid function is just a little sluggish and symptoms are mild, these lifestyle measures, along with watching medication and supplement timing, can make a real difference. But I want to be clear, if your blood work shows real hypothyroidism, don't delay treatment. The risks of untreated thyroid disease are serious.
Thank you for saying that. Sometimes I think seniors are scared to start another pill, but the risks of not treating thyroid disease sound much worse. Before we finish, you teased a story, a patient who turned things around with a single overlooked lifestyle change. Will you share it?
Of course. This is about Bob, who was 79 when he came to me. He was exhausted, down to just a few friends, eating whatever was easy. His thyroid was borderline low, but not quite enough for medication. We worked together to build a routine, a morning walk around his block, a weekly lunch with a neighbor, and a few dietary tweaks, adding eggs and nuts, cutting out junk food. 6 months later, Bob's energy and memory improved so much his daughter thought he'd started medication. But he hadn't, just movement, food, and friendship. His follow-up labs showed his thyroid was back in the optimal range. A 2023 British Medical Journal case series found stories like Bob's are more common than you'd think. Lifestyle can't fix every thyroid issue, but it can help. And sometimes it's the difference between decline and recovery.
That's so powerful. It makes me think everybody listening has a Bob or Evelyn in their life. Maybe it's even themselves. This isn't just about blood work. It's about getting your life back, one step at a time. So, Dr. Harper, what would you say to the senior who's listening right now, feeling like it's too late or that their symptoms don't matter?
I'd say this: don't accept that getting older means feeling worse every year. Aging is natural, but suffering is not. If you have fatigue, memory problems, or unexplained weight changes, speak up. Bring your symptoms, your home temperature readings, your questions. Be the expert on your own experience. And if you feel brushed off, get a second opinion. The right diagnosis can change your life at any age.
That's the message I want everyone to hear. You matter, your symptoms matter, and there is hope. Before we wrap up, can you leave our listeners with a next step, something practical they can do tonight or tomorrow morning?
Absolutely. Here's your assignment. Write down your symptoms, even the ones you think are just aging. For 3 mornings, check your temperature before you get out of bed. Make a list of all your medications and supplements. Book an appointment with your doctor and bring your notes. Ask, can we check my thyroid with a full panel? And if you're taking thyroid medication, set a reminder to take it alone with water first thing in the morning.
Simple, clear, and actionable. And for anyone feeling nervous, remember, you're not alone. Millions of seniors are finding answers and new energy by looking beyond just getting old. Thank you so much, Dr. Harper, for guiding us through this maze. Your expertise and your stories make all the difference.
Thank you, Susan. And for everyone listening, stay curious, stay persistent, and remember, you deserve to feel your best, no matter your age.
That's right. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend, a sibling, or your parent's caregiver. You might just save someone's best years.